Viva Ronaldo!
Ronaldo,
Viva Ronaldo!
Valentine knowing,
Viva
here United sing. Viva
Ronaldo!
Ronaldo!
Viva
Viva Ronaldo!
Ronaldo! Running
Valentine knowing,
Viva
here United sing.
Viva
Viva Ronaldo! Viva
Ronaldo!
Ronaldo!
Viva Ronaldo! Running
Viva
Ronaldo!
Ronaldo!
United sing. Viva
Viva
Ronaldo!
Ronaldo!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Glowy Glowy podcast with me, Kyle Quinn. And today joining me is Michael Gracey. Welcome back to the show, Michael.
Oh, thanks for having me back, Ken. I'm very excited to be here on a very spectacular day.
We couldn't come back at a better time after the signing of Ronaldo. Um, for the last 12 years, we've been romanticizing about this fantasy of Ronaldo come back to United. I think whenever he went from Real Madrid to Juventus at 33, we thought that was it. The ship had sailed. But here we are in 2021. Ronaldo has arrived back at Old Trafford. What's your thoughts on it, Michael?
Oh, I'm absolutely over the moon. Like absolutely over the moon. I don't ever believe it, and just to see it finally happen, I'm lost for words. It was very scary there because it looked like he was going to City, and I think like most people were crushing his name, but once they went through, he's coming to United, everything changed. I'm on cloud nine. Unbelievable.
And to make it even sweeter, it seems as if City were just used by Jorge Mendes to kick United into gear.
Oh, yes. Here, I always thought Jorge Mendes was a bit of a twat, but to be honest, I think he's a genius now. He's the best agent in the game.
Yeah, fuck Mina Raiola. Jorge Mendes is the man.
Oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
So Ronaldo finished his United career in 2009 on 118 goals in 292 appearances, and we thought he was never going to add to that. But now he's definitely is going to add to it. And how many could he get? Could he get up to 170? Could he even go the whole way up to 200? What do you think?
Oh, here you can kind of you look at Ronaldo's age, you think, oh, surely a man of his age can't be getting those kind of goals. But Ronaldo isn't a man; he's a footballing god. Like the rules of general morals don't apply to him. So he absolutely can get 200. He can get as many goals as he pleases. He basically scores when he wants to score. But so I have every confidence that United will or Ronaldo will be scoring for United this season and quite a lot, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and it probably will see Fernandez's goals decrease because he's no longer going to be taking free kicks and penalties, will he?
Well, yeah, but here, you know what? Like Bruno got that hat trick the first day of the season, so Bruno can still get those goals. But yeah, he definitely was like even in the fantasy, he was always reliable to get those penalty points. But that's all right. I'll drop Bruno and I'll be getting Ronaldo in very shortly.
I can imagine Ronaldo is going to be somewhere near the price of Mo Salah on fantasy football, like massive.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to get in someone really crap to replace Bruno just so I can have the money to buy Ronaldo elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm alright positioning myself for it. I took Bruno out to put Pogba in, and Pogba's a lot cheaper than Bruno, so I've made room for Ronaldo.
Yeah, that's some solid advice. I might do the exact same. Although I played my wild card last week, so I'm kind of going to be in the hole a few points, but I don't care. It'll be worth it to get Ronaldo back in.
Yeah, definitely will be. I'd love to have a front line of Ronaldo, Lukaku, and Keane, but then that really is fantasy football. That's just not happening. Like,
Oh, here, it's like the Cadillac of front threes, but oh god, the rest of your team would be absolutely dire. Like it really, like literally, you'd have to get crap in like dire.
and Tom Cleverley and people like that. Yeah.
Get Phil Jones in. He's probably be about 4.5, wouldn't he?
Well, you definitely won't be on minus points if Phil Jung plays because you can't be on minus if he's not playing any games. You constantly
That's
getting goal
true.
every week. Okay. Ronaldo has right. We've seen a lot of the journalists in the last few days writing articles and pundits on Soccer Saturday really being negative about this deal. saying that Ronaldo is past his best. United don't need him. It's a lot of money for a player who's 36, and I feel as if Man City had signed him, things would have been a lot different. They've been talking about how City really needed a number 9, and how Guardiola has done a shrewd bit of business going out there and getting the striker that they crave to complete their team. But of course, when it's United, the perspective is the total opposite. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, Chelsea have been absolutely lauded for the signing of Lukaku, and that's fair enough. I don't disagree with that. But Ronaldo outscored Lukaku in Serie A last season, so let's put a bit of respect on his name.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, see, the thing with Ronaldo is, he's not a normal football player. So like the fact of his age, it shouldn't really come into. Forget about his age. For just look at what he's done and the goals that he scored in Serie A. Like, he's like, it may not be as good as what he once was, but he was so much better than everyone else. He could still be not as good and still better than most players. And that's kind of where he is right now. He's absolutely solid. I have no doubt that he will do equally well this season with Man United.
Yeah, he was once a winger, but he's transformed himself into a number 9, and he just continues to bang the goals in. Like, it was 36 in 44 appearances last season. Yeah, that's quite a tally for a 36-year-old. So we cannot wait to see him back at Old Trafford. Hopefully, he makes it debut against Newcastle. And interestingly enough, he had a very, very good record against Newcastle when he did play for United. So there's not a better way to start than that. Who would bet against him getting a hat-trick on his debut?
Oh, I certainly wouldn't. Absolutely not. Do you think? I suppose the question would be, like, would he be? I mean, you'd expect Ronaldo to be starting games, but would he be starting right away? Because all he has, kind of, even with like Sancho and Varane, he likes to kind of get their fitness levels up before he starts them. Do you reckon it'll be the same with Ronaldo?
Yeah, that has been discussed among the fans, but I think Ronaldo is such a big name. I think he dictates when he plays. And he will have played 3 World Cup qualifiers in the next couple of weeks before that game against Newcastle. So there can't be any excuses about fitness. Ronaldo has to go straight in. And I think I read a quote from Ollie from his post-match press conference where he said that Ronaldo's going to go straight into the team. Yeah, so it looks like it's going to happen.
Oh, fantastic! Well, then here I'll be going down to the shop to get Ronaldo 7 on the back of my shirt.
Absolutely, I've already ordered a replica of the 2006-2007 home shirt with Ronaldo on the back.
To be honest, I'm surprised you didn't have one already.
Well, I did have one, yeah, but it kind of got damaged, and I just kind of give it away to charity then. I think it was the away one from that season. But I had to get myself a new one. Okay, we'll move on now to the Wolves game yesterday, which was an absolutely shambolic performance. I mean, how United could have been 3-0 down at half time. It really was absolutely woeful. Fred was just absolutely all over the place, falling over again, nearly giving away a penalty, nearly getting sent off. The ball just bouncing off his knee and straight to a Wolves player. It was absolutely awful. And yeah, it just shows to show you, no matter how good your attack and defense is, when you don't have that link player between the two, you're going to be woefully short. And Fred was exposed so badly yesterday, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, he was. Like, I think I even recall, like, even in the first 5 minutes, like, he made 2 mistakes that led to Wolves' opportunities. Like, it was a very bad performance out of him, I thought.
Yeah, I'm really glad that he didn't end up taking down that Wolves player in the box, because that would have been a penalty and a red card, and we never would have won the game if that had happened. So I'm glad that he failed to make the challenge.
Well, here, do you not think De Gea would have saved that penalty?
That's not even the way. It just
no. I was a jive with De Gea, but actually I thought De Gea had a fantastic game yesterday. He was back to, even the season. He's kind of, I don't want to speak too soon, but he's kind of back to his best. I thought he made some fantastic saves yesterday.
Yeah. some of the saves were kind of routine enough, but the save from the rebound from the Wolves corner, the initial save was kind of straight at him, but the save he made to keep out the rebound was absolutely world class, and that was the Gay of old. And if he keeps playing like this, then Dean Henderson might struggle to get into the team.
Yeah, he's rejuvenated. Maybe just having all this fresh talent around him is kind of has got him all pumped up, and it's bringing the best out of him again.
Yeah, I love this wee joke that he did in post-match interview with Pogba. The interviewer asked him, so what's your thoughts on Cristiano Ronaldo return to the club? And the guy said, who? Yeah, Mason Greenwood, 3 goals in 3 games for United now at the start of the season. He is the star boy. He is the man. And Ronaldo, no matter if Ronaldo or Cavani are in the team, Greenwood always has to play, whether it's through the middle or on the right. He's absolutely undroppable at the moment, isn't he?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the stats speak for themselves. If you score 3 games in a row, you need to continue starting. Like, there's no question about it. Absolutely.
And let's come to the debutant, Rafael Varan. What a performance he had on his debut. He's cool, calm, collective, just so composed under pressure. Whenever he loses out on a challenge, he's got the pace to get back and make the block, and that's the difference. He just reminds me of Rio Ferdinand.
Oh yeah, I thought he was fantastic in that game, and I think especially as well, it was a great time or a great team for him to play against the Wolves, because they were like a very physical and dominating team, and they were constantly pressing. And he kind of, you were worried about how he would adapt to the Premier League, but actually I thought he rose to the challenge very well, and he put in a fantastic performance, and I'm sure he'll only get better as the season goes on.
Yeah, there was somebody else that suggested to me that he didn't play against Southampton because they're a big, tall, physical team, and Varane might not be ready for that Premier League experience because he's used to playing in the Liga. But I thought I had to totally disagree with that, and based on yesterday, I think I was right, because the intensity of that game was ferocious, and we were under the cosh for about 70% of that game, and Varane did absolutely well.
He did, absolutely, yeah. He was fantastic. It was welcome to the Premier League, Varane.
It was a baptism of fire, and he passed with flying colours, and that's a great sign for things to come.
Absolutely, I can't wait to see what the future holds for that him and Maguire partnership.
Yeah, but what we really missed yesterday was McTominay as a link player between the defence and the attack. Fred, like we discussed, is just useless, to be quite honest. And if at all possible, I would love to see us sign a kind of holding midfielder in the next kind of 36 hours. But let's see what happens. Who would you like to see to come in?
Oh, geez. Well, anyone but Fred. I feel like Fred is so bad that I would, at this point, just I'd be willing to take a punt on anybody. And hopefully, I know McTominay's injured right now, and hopefully he can kind of come back and step back into that role. But just, just any CDM at all at this point. But I trust United now, having been such a successful transfer window. I kind of have a bit of faith that if they were to sign somebody, it would be somebody good.
Yeah, I think that's just the one missing link. We're very, very close to having a title-winning team now, even though it's a very competitive league with Chelsea, Liverpool, City all very strong. But I think we just need that one player to complete our team. And if we can get that in this window, that would be fantastic. But even if we don't, our team is just phenomenal. You remember at the start of Solskjaer's reign, we were bringing in young British players and trying to build a British core of British values. Players who are willing to really work hard, players who are, at United. Yeah. Players of the past. United teams in the 90s and 90s were full of, Beckham, Giggs, Goals, Nicky Butt, Gary Neville, Phil Neville. Solskjaer seemed he wanted to build that British core again. Players who are just sometimes players on the continent, or they see Real Madrid and Barcelona as the peak, as the pinnacle, of football. Whereas players in England and Ireland and Scotland, Wales would see Man United as the absolute pinnacle. Well, Solskjaer seems to have changed his mind on that now. I mean, every single signing that we've signed this window has been a Galactico.
And I'm okay with that. I think he was right to do it. Like he's the squad that he's kind of built up. Like we wouldn't have believed it even like 4 or 5 years ago. If you had told us that this is the team that we would have right now, we wouldn't have believed you.
Yeah, I wouldn't believe that either. Although Sancho, I suppose, fits into both categories. You know, he's a young English player, but he's also a Galactico as well, given the performances and the stats that he's built up at Dortmund with assists and goals. He's been, and the skill that he has, absolutely phenomenal. Obviously we haven't seen the best of him yet, but I mean he hasn't played the full 90 minutes since the German Cup final, which he scored twice in, and that was back in May. I mean he started one game for England at the Euros. He didn't play 90 there, and yesterday was his first start since then, and so you can see he's not sharp, but I still have full faith in him that he will come good. And Solskjaer was playing him on the left yesterday too, and he really should be playing on the right. I didn't really understand that, but I do have faith in him. Do you?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I think as a whole, I think at the moment, I know we won that last game against Watford, but I felt like even though we're getting the results, everything hasn't fully clicked yet. And I think when it is, we're going to be a very dangerous team. But I felt like yesterday we kind of almost thought because we had the talent there, we were just naturally going to win. But actually, I don't think the team is kind of gelled fully yet. And I think that, this team actually is going to have to like progress and show a lot more than what was shown yesterday. So I think not just Sancho, but the whole team as a collective unit isn't quite as sharp as what they can be. But I know that'll change like in the next few games, hopefully.
Well, Solskjaer did say that the first 3 games of the season will essentially be an extension of pre-season because of the lack of pre-season games. One was even called off against Preston due to COVID, and a lot of players coming back late from the Euros and the Copa America. So that should be pre-season over now, and a lot of the players are going to be playing more international football. So when we come back from the Newcastle game, everybody should be at the peak of their fitness, and we should be ready to go and pick up wins in the next few games.
God help Newcastle.
Yeah, and they're very unhappy at the moment themselves. They're already looking the manager to be sacked. They're very, very disgruntled, as they often are, with how things are going. So it seems like a good time to play them, although most times are a good time to play Newcastle.
That's true. I know, I wouldn't mind playing Arsenal now as well.
Absolutely. Arsenal are bottom of the league and Tottenham are top. Depending on which side of North London you're from, it's either the best scenario or the worst scenario.
It's just yeah. I mean, as a United fan, I just find the whole Arsenal situation just hilarious. Fair play to Spurs; they're at the top, but hopefully they don't stay there. But Arsenal, they're just they're great for comedic value at this point.
Yeah, I mean they're just comedy gold, and watching their fan channels is particularly entertaining as well. I can't see Arteta lasting too long if this continues, but okay, we'll get on to the player ratings now from yesterday. I mean, this is going to be a very easy one. David De Gea, take it away.
Oh, well, I thought he had some fantastic saves yesterday. If it weren't for him, like we would have lost points. So I'll give him an 8. I'll give him an 8.
Yeah, I think he was my man of the match, and yes, I would give him an 8 or a 9 as well. Just back to his brilliant best, and long may this continue. Like I said earlier, he looks rejuvenated, and if he cuts out the mistakes he's been making in the last 2 years, then he's really going to help us, get towards winning the title. Okay, Ahmad Basaka. I think the obvious standout moment was the clearance that he made about 4 yards out, where I think it's one where Fred fell over when he tried to make the tackle in the penalty area, and the Wolves striker put the ball past De Gea, and Wan-Bissaka kind of blocked it just a few yards out. So that was an outstanding bit of defending, and I thought he had a very solid game. I think Wan-Bissaka excels when we're under pressure. When we're the other team's in possession, all that. That's where he excels. Yeah. It's when we're in possession, attacking is where it doesn't really suit him because he's not particularly good going forward. So I would give Wan-Bissaka a very solid 7 for yesterday's performance. So moving on to Varane, the debutant. What did you make of him, Michael?
Well, I hear we'd already kind of talked about it. I was very impressed. I suppose there was kind of a question mark over how he would adapt to the Premier League, and he rose to the challenge. I thought he put in a great performance. I would give him a 7.
Okay, moving on to Harry Maguire. I thought he did a very solid game yesterday. Against Southampton, he wasn't particularly good. He'll give away a couple of goals with some slack passing. But yesterday was definitely an improvement. You could argue that the presence of Varane is improving him, but it's only one game. We'll see how things go. And even though Lindelof is a favourite of Ollie, he's definitely going to go with the Maguire Varane duo for the rest of the season. I think Lindelof will come in certain games where he's resting players, but I think he's going to persist with this partnership, and hopefully it works out. Hopefully this is the new Fernandez and Vidic.
Let's hope.
Well, I'll give Maguire a solid 7 as well. So coming on to Luke Shaw, at times yesterday, I think I thought he was our only player who was really kind of bursting forward, making direct runs. A lot of the other players were kind of getting the ball and passing it back. So what would you give him out of 10 for yesterday's performance?
I think I'll continue the run of 7s for the defenders and give him a 7 as well. I thought he was very good, kind of run up the wing, and he got in some good balls. So yeah, I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, I think it's very deserving a 7 considering we kept a clean sheet, and I don't think the defense they might have looked shaky, but I mean they were under pressure because of how bad the fucking midfield was. I mean. Fred, we're going to come on to him right now. Fred was particularly poor, but Pogba, as we know, doesn't particularly work that hard, so it makes it even worse. So Fred, I mean, he continually gets low scores. He gets 3s, 4s, but I think that was so bad yesterday. It has to be even lower than that. So, what do you think?
I would maybe give him a 2 because I think there was one point he made actually quite a crucial clearance, but I would still give him a 2 because for the other 89 minutes he was god awful. So I would give him a generous 2.
Yeah, I think he's just an absolute embarrassment. I'm sure he is a nice guy, and he works really hard. You want to get on board with him, but when you watch him play like that, you're thinking he's got to be one of the worst players in the Premier League. I mean, I had a discussion with an Arsenal fan about this, and he said, "Well, you haven't seen Granit Xhaka very often, have you?" But I think if there's a worse player in the Premier League than Fred when he plays like that, then I would dread to see him. Okay, we'll come on to Paul Pogba yesterday. I thought it was in the first half, the game kind of passed him by. The intensity of Wolves was making it very difficult for United's midfield. He didn't get on the ball a lot. I thought in the second half, as Solskjaer kind of pointed out, he kind of dictated the play a wee bit more when he was getting on the ball a wee bit more in the first half. Not as much as Solskjaer was making out, but he was a lot better in the second half. He was making challenges, which you don't often see regularly. There was that contentious issue of the United goal where Ruben Neves wanted a foul. But let's be honest. I mean, it was. I know it looks worse when you slow it down, you stop it. It looks as if it studs on the shin. But I mean, when you watch it in real time, Pogba's toe grazes Neves' shin pad, and he takes just a late reaction, and he's all right for a couple of seconds. Then he goes, oh. It was embarrassing, and I'm glad VAR did not overturn the goal, and Ruben Neves was booked by Mike Dean. I think that was the correct call. What do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, if you were listening to Souness after the match, he was saying that was a leg breaker challenge. But because that's just Souness will always say out there when Pogba's concerned. I think the right call. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think Souness' obsession with Pogba is not normal. He just when he plays well, he won't give him any credit. When he has an average game, he'll say that he had a really poor game. And he has a poor game. he quite rightfully criticizes him, but he just cannot give him any credit whatsoever. Even when Paul Pogba got those 4 assists against Leeds, he still couldn't bring himself, to compliment Paul Pogba. It was just embarrassing. So I'll give Pogba a 7 out of 10 yesterday as well. So coming on to Bruno Fernandez, another very industrious game where he's always on the ball. He's always trying to make things happen, and he was working hard. Just one caveat, I would say that he's constantly in the face of the referees, and he's getting bookings for dissent. And in some game, that's going to cost us. He's going to get an early booking for mouthing at the referee, and then he's going to put in a missed time challenge in the second half, and he's going to walk. I can definitely see that is going to happen at some point. So anyway, what would you give Bruno Fernandez out of 10 yesterday?
I think I'd give him a 7 as well. I think I kind of like to see, even kind of getting the referees' faces. I know, he shouldn't be doing that there. It's kind of stupid, but you like to see, someone that is that passionate and someone that is going to go there and give the referees some stick, like Honor Herrera used to do it, for example. You just kind of don't want people that don't really care, they're just going to not kind of fight for every last thing that they can possibly get. So I like that passion out of Bruno, although maybe it is a bit stupid, but I would give him a 7 because, as you said, he was very hard working yesterday. He was always on the ball. You wouldn't really expect anything less from Bruno.
Yeah, I do like that passionate side to him, and is willing to fight for everything. But he kind of needs to kind of decrease it a wee bit, not do it in every single game, and because he is going to get a sent off at some point. Okay, we'll move on to the forward line now. Mason Greenwood, just take it away.
Oh, there you go. Third goal in 3 games. The only goal of that game. Sensational. The fact that he's a teenager and he's playing like that, the sky's the limit for this man. Absolutely fantastic game. I'd give him an 8.
Yeah. People are saying he could be the new Van Persie. I'm now thinking he could be even better than that. I think he possibly could be a Ballon d'Or winner in the future. What do you think?
Well, I mean, without a doubt, absolutely. And I think he's only gonna progress with having someone like Ronaldo nearby to kind of as a role model, someone that's going to work with him. I think the future's bright for him without a doubt. But it is. I could definitely see a future where he is picking up a Ballon d'Or.
I mean, he already has Cavani as a mentor, and now he's going to have Ronaldo as well. He just couldn't ask for anything like
that. No, you really couldn't. He has everything around him that he could possibly need to become one of the best players in the world.
So we'll move on to Dan James yesterday. Wasn't a particularly great performance. His crossing wasn't really up to standard, and I just don't think he's a United player. I mean, I really like the lad. I think he's a nice guy and all, and I would love to see it work out for him. But I just don't think he's at the level. So, what do you make of him yesterday?
I wasn't overly impressed. I don't think he contributed an awful lot, but he was kind of trying. He was kind of making runs, and the pace of him is, it's never a problem. But I wouldn't it wasn't his best game. I think he certainly could have did better. You would hope for him to do better, and you just don't see a place for him in the United squad with the likes of Ronaldo coming in. I think I would give him maybe a 6. I don't think he wasn't terrible. He wasn't afraid, but at the same time, he wasn't contributing to the same level as most other people in the team.
No, definitely not. He's just given the embarrassment of riches that we now have in the forward line. It's really difficult to see where Dan James is going to fit in now, and we will come on to that a wee bit later in the show. Just trying to think to myself, have I missed someone out? I think I did 3.
Sancho?
Oh yes, well that's just my something. That says it everything. That's it. He was just anonymous, wasn't he? That's but like we said earlier, he's just really lacking. He's not fully match fit at the moment. He hasn't played. He has been 90 minutes since the German Cup final in May, and we just had to give him a wee bit of time to get up to speed, don't we?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, He'll get there. There's no doubt about that. There, like he's one of the best players in the world. Like, we know what he can do. We've seen what he's done in Germany. Without a doubt, he'll get there in the Premier League. So I think yesterday he's still kind of getting there. He still hasn't played a full 90 minutes because he didn't really get a lot of action with England in the Euros either. So I think once he kind of gets a bit more match fit, we're going to start seeing more from him because he didn't do an awful lot in yesterday's game, but you could kind of see glimpses every now and then of what he can do.
So would you give him a generous 6 or are you going to give him a 5?
No, I couldn't bring myself to give him a 5. Not want to give Dan James a 6, so I'll give him a 6 as well.
Okay, we come on to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. What would you rate his performance out of 10 yesterday?
Well, I think we did get the win, so and I feel like he probably, out of the players he had at hand, he probably did play the best team that he could have at that point in time. So like I'm gonna give him. I'll give him a 7, I suppose. But to be honest, maybe that's a bit generous because Wolves were kind of all over us, and but I think that's probably just I think we're going to take that's going to change with time, as you kind of said. It's kind of almost like a preseason game, so I don't want to be too critical of him too early. We got the result, but like I think he's gonna he really needs to pull up his socks here because there's no more excuses for Ole. He has the talent on the team to be challenging for the league, and now he's going to distinguish himself. Is he a PE teacher or is he a top class manager? We're going to find out, but I won't be too critical of him just yet. So I'll maybe give him a 7 just to give him the average of the scores that we have given the team today. But I do want to see him doing better and seeing United dominate games a bit more than what we did yesterday.
Yeah, I think if we didn't win the game yesterday, Solskjaer probably would have got a 3 because Sancho and James were played on the wrong wings. You should have been playing in the opposite wings. Cavani didn't start when he really should have. Fred being in the team after his performance against Southampton, I heard somebody say there's no other manager in the league who would have started Fred yesterday after the way he played against Southampton. But then I do have certain sympathy with that selection because the only alternative is Matic. And we know that Matic is over the hill now. He's 33. He's slow. If he was playing against Wolves, who were playing at that intensity, they would just gobble him up. He would have to start. He would be fouling people over the place, and he'd end up being sent off. He'd struggle to get close to people, and yeah, I can see why Fred was kind of the only option with McTominay being out. Yeah, so it's a 7 because we won, but if given how bad we played and how dubious some of the selections were, it would have been a 3 had we have drawn the match or lost.
Yeah, well, that's it. A win can change your mind very quickly. Can it?
Yeah, it's all about the result. All about the result. You seen the elation of the away fans. Celebrating the result and chanting Ronaldo's name. When you go on a day out, as fans, it doesn't really matter how the team played. It's just all about winning the game.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, yeah. I mean, that's what United are there to do. They're there to win the game, 3 points, and they did exactly that. So, you can't really fault United for that. Although you do kind of hope that they are going to, start dominating games a bit more than what they did yesterday.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be under the cosh like that in all 38 games. Like it won't be like
that. Well, certainly won't be against Newcastle anyway.
No, definitely not. I know because we've said it so much now, we're going to end up fucking eating our words.
Well, I'll not be back in the podcast then. So,
okay, let's come on to a wee bit of transfer news that's breaking today, and that's from Fabrizio Romano, who says Leeds are in advanced talks to sign Dan James from Manchester United on a permanent deal. Discussions ongoing to complete the agreement. Talks also in personal terms. Yeah, I'm not surprised to see this happening. Daniel James, like we talked about already, is going to struggle to get games now with the embarrassment riches that we have. I'm just a bit sad that he's going to Leeds. I'd rather if he went to someone who's a bit less of a rival to Man United, someone like Brighton maybe or Watford. But yeah, I still wish him all the best. He's a nice lad, and I hope his career works out for him.
Oh yeah, I think yeah. He's a talented lad, and I feel like it's kind of a shame it hasn't worked out for United. But as you kind of said, there's not really any room for him in the squad anymore. Not with the players that we have got in, and I think Leeds is actually a good fit for him. Like they're a very attacking team, and with John James' pace, that could be something that they'd really benefit from. So I could definitely see him having a good career there, and I wish him the best too.
Yeah, they've wanted him for a very long time, and it seems like they're going to get him. I think the fee could end up being around 20 million, which I'm sure. I think a permanent deal, a permanent exit is being pursed by the Glazers because they've spent an awful lot of money this summer on transfer fees and wages, and they'll definitely want to balance the books a wee bit. They want to get a few people out now, not just on loans but on permanent deals. It looked as if Ahmad was going to go on a loan deal at the Feyenoord in Holland, but it seems like that's off now because he picked up an injury and he's out for 6 weeks. The only other exit I can really see happening is Jesse Lingard. That's one to watch in the next 36 hours. I could see West Ham coming back in again, looking for a late bargain on Lingard because they'll know United will want to sell, and they want to have him, but they don't want to pay the fee, the £25 million that United were looking for. So I could see them striking a deal somewhere between in the 15 million to 20 million mark in the next few hours. What do you think?
I think 15 to 20 would actually be a reasonable price for Lingard. I think he's very good for West Ham. He's not really going to get the game time at United, so he's kind of surplus to requirements. And he did, he seems like I know I in particular I was kind of quite frustrated with him like the year before, thinking it had been so long that he hadn't scored for United, but I think deep down he's a good lad. I think what's best for him probably would be to go to West Ham. He seemed to fit in well there. I think the fans love him. So I would kind of hope to see that go through as well. And it's always nice as well to kind of see players getting sold and not like having Phil Jones sitting there getting paid. It's good. It's good. I would like to see some of our players that are surplus requirements actually leave rather than just sitting there collecting a wage for doing nothing.
Yeah, it was really hard for him to get into the team with Bruno and Pogba and so many options up front as well. And now we've added Sancho and Ronaldo to that. I mean, Lingard's just not going to have a hope of playing unless it's in the League Cup or something. So for the good of his own career, he should go somewhere where he's going to play regularly and score goals. And that's exactly what happened at West Ham. So I think that's the best move for him in the next few hours. So. And I would wish him all the best as well, and works out for him. And that's to get in the England team too. It's better for him to play for West Ham because that's what got him back in Gareth Southgate's thoughts. That's why he was in the provisional squad for the Euros, and that's why he's back in the squad for the World Cup qualifiers. So, yeah, I think for everyone involved, the best deal would be for him to go to West Ham before tomorrow's deadline.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree with that.
Okay, I think we'll wrap it up there. It's been a really fun podcast, and I know our singing at the start was a bit out of sync, but we did our best.
Viva Ronaldo!
Viva Ronaldo! Running down the wing, he and I did sing. Viva Ronaldo!
Viva Ronaldo!
Okay, until next time, Michael.
Thanks very much for having me, Kev. I enjoyed it.
Yep, see you later.